is Tiffany, and welcome to my channel, Foxey Sunrise. Today's pick a card reading is going to be about cultivating new boundaries and what boundaries are lacking. So all the timestamps will be down below in the description box, and if I do mention any astrology signs or astrological energies, I do have a link underneath the timestamps if you want to calculate your birth chart, and time of birth does give you a more specific calculation and more specific details, so just keep that in mind. So we have group 1, which is Playtime and Capricorn. We have group 2, Virgo and Harmony, and group 3, Soul and Happiness. Okay, and I will see you at your group. Hey, group 1, if you chose Capricorn and Fun, this is your reading. Okay, so I wrote down some keywords for this group, and the words are stoic, workaholic, standoffish, uptight, hustling, and relax. So we have Triumph of Lies and Gaia. Be mindful of the planet, come back to Earth, and stay grounded. Let's see. So when I was shuffling for the theme cards for this group, I saw somebody who had a very almost tightly pressed lips, a tight bun. I'm seeing someone who doesn't really smile very much, or they have like a resting bitch face. Someone who's very serious. And it's interesting because in both of these pictures, the person isn't really smiling. They're just staring very intensely. With this Gaia card, I'm thinking of somebody who is very determined and maybe living in the future a lot. Like, this group is very goal driven, and so getting lost in your goals doesn't really keep you grounded in the present moment. So I feel like there's something important about this group setting boundaries on their energy being split and scattered between their future and their present moment. Because I'm also getting like anxiety here, or like a feeling of pressure in the chest. Like, I feel like this group is very sturdy and takes anxiety very well. Maybe to the point where you don't even realize that you're maybe a little burnt out or stressed. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's a strong need to recognize where you may be pushing, and also where you may feel that it's like your worth is wrapped into your efforts and what you're capable of and what you do and how many hours you work, or how much you get done. And there's this adaptation of moving in this way. So what I mean by that is, like, because you're used to moving this way, and maybe the foundation of your self-esteem and the way that you think and your beliefs are really strongly geared towards this way of moving through life, that it's become sort of part of your core values. And so there's a need to really balance hustling, work life, and relaxation. And this Ten of Wands card really feels like burnout, and this person's head is down. So it's almost like they're just kind of moving without the conscious awareness that they're doing more than they really need to. So there's maybe a suggestion of delegating, of trusting people can take care of things when you're not micromanaging and when you're not in full control, like allowing other people to take the reins so that you have some time to rest. Yeah, I'm getting a strong entrepreneurial energy here, and a very like wise beyond your years energy. So somebody who's younger but kind of has sort of like an older soul, like maybe you don't know how to relax because you're so serious, and like this is the type of person that you are. I'm getting somebody who, if you're familiar with your birth chart, someone who has Saturn in the 5th house. Trying to think anything. Yeah, Saturn in the 5th house, or a Capricorn rising, or even a Capricorn moon. But someone who is a little bit wound up, and maybe I'm getting trust is a big thing here, like trusting that you can release something and it'll be fine if you walk away, trusting that you don't have to always have your hands on something, that it can survive without you constantly funneling energy into it, allowing things to breathe, allowing yourself to relax, like trusting that you can let your guard down. So, interestingly enough, I'm getting the message that this group has very intense boundaries. This overcautiousness. So it's like this group has a problem with letting others in. So it's not that you are lacking boundaries, there's a need to assess why you might have so many boundaries. And is it to protect yourself? Is it because all of the things that you want to put your energy in, you hold so close to your chest that you don't really trust anyone else to take care of it the way that you do? Which is also another reason why you might micromanage, which I feel like is like, sometimes it's necessary for certain people. Some people just, they need to be micromanaged, but I feel like that also can come off like, for example, I have worked with a manager who micromanages, and sometimes it's not even necessary, because she does it with everybody, but sometimes it's not even necessary, and it's in a way like it feels like she's projecting her own anxiety of the situation on everyone else by micromanaging, like overly micromanaging. And so then it's like, okay, now I feel like some anxious energy that I didn't feel before because I'm doing okay, but you're not doing okay, so you feel the need to micromanage everybody. And so it can rub people the wrong way, and it can also feel like it rubs people the wrong way because it's like, you don't trust my ability to get this done. Like, just tell me what you need to do, what you need me to do once, and I will do it. If I need a reminder, you will know. Like, I will ask you, but it can come off overbearing. That's the word that I'm getting. It's very overbearing, and it's very intense. And it's understandable when you have a vision and you know what you want, but it's more efficient for you and your energy, and it frees up space in your mind, and it gives you time to rest, so you're not like killing yourself when you delegate. Like, I'm even getting with the Playtime card, like somebody who is very protective of their kids and who watches their kids, so much so that they don't even want to look for extended care or daycare or anything like that. They just want to be the only ones that their child is around. Like, they're very like helicopter parent-ish, and this can go for if you have a child or if you have a metaphorical child, as far as like projects and endeavors. Like, you are the only one who can take care of this child, the only one who can feed and nurture this child, and who is capable of doing so. When I am sure with this discernment and discrimination, you can find the right person that you can delegate some of these things to, some of this work to. Asking for help seems to be a big issue, and I don't know if it's your pride, your ego, if you're just stubborn. Wow. We have proper rest helps me feel and look my best in reverse. What number? Number 34. So I'm also getting Mars in Capricorn placement. There's just this like drive, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that energy is so important. It would be a shame if it was just burnt out. And like, again, like, what is it attached to? Are you taking care of yourself with this conscious eating? Nourishes me in reverse. Like, are you neglecting a bunch of other things because you're just so focused on these goals? It's so interesting. I was watching something last night about entrepreneurship, and this guy was talking about the comparisons that entrepreneurs make to other entrepreneurs and business people, and how there's this glorification of hustle culture. And Elon Musk was the example that he used in the lecture, and it was like he was talking about how many hours Elon Musk says that he works, and how at times, like, that's what we're shown, is how many hours these people work and how successful they are, but no one really takes the time to, not no one, I don't want to be definitive, but how it's important to take the time to see and study the full picture of these entrepreneurs' lives who pretty much sacrifice everything just to succeed, to reach goals, and how maybe their personal life isn't really being well fed, and it's being which is interesting with this conscious eating nourishes me. There may be other very vital parts of your life being malnourished because of this drive and almost this drug high that you get from succeeding and from gaining, from getting these goals, and that like insatiable thirst. It can be genuine, but there is an importance to examine where it's coming from. If it is genuine, or if it is driven by, say, a lack mindset, a poverty mindset, a I need to prove myself sort of egoic mindset. And we have, there is medicine in my shadow. So with the shadow mentioned here, we see the owl is placed around her head. And the shadow and the owl remind me of the subconscious and the wisdom that can be found when we dive into our unconscious and our subconscious, and understanding why we have continued to show up the way that we have, and if it is still benefiting us or if it's detrimental to us. And we have the number 37 here. In numerology, you add up most numbers to get a single number, and we get the number 10, which dwindles down to a 1. But 10 is important here when it comes to the end that is represented, the end of a cycle, the end of a stage of life, the end of the way that the embodiment that we choose to present. And if this is something that we want to continue to do, or if this is something that we know needs to die ultimately, and we need to integrate all that we've learned from this existence and choose a new one. Let's see. Actually, I want to read Triumph of Lies. We have someone with a crown here. A skull with a crown. And we have another number 1. Yeah, there's with the ones, we have the 10 that adds up to a 1, another 1. We have another 10. So there's like endings and new beginnings. There's leadership energy here. There's maybe some of you, I don't know if you're into numerology, maybe you're life path 1, or that's funny. 1 is also January, which is Capricorn Aquarius season as well. So maybe some of you actually are Capricorns. Anyways, Triumph of Lies. If something hurts me, I change myself so it can stop. Wow. 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 Oh my gosh. Yeah, this isn't a deck that I use very often, so I don't have to read the book, but I like to, because the descriptions are a little bit poetic. But anyways, not all that glitters is gold. Emptiness is felt when there is nothing under the dress. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That just gives me the energy of someone who doesn't have like life in them anymore. They're burnt out. They're pushing themselves so hard. And for what? Like, are you enjoying yourself? Are you, again, like, nourished? Are you sleeping? Are you working on fumes? And what is this all for? And can you do this in a more efficient way? Like, do you have to exert your energy in this way? Anyways, the Triumph of Lies is about appearance. And appearance is always so important in the world. Day by day, it seems more important. Can that be a lie too? Wow, appearances. Okay, so in astrology, Capricorn rules the 10th house in the birth chart. There's 12 houses for the 12 planets and 12 signs, and they all fall in a certain combination or order depending on when you were born and what time you were born. So in the 10th house, which again we have, like I was saying, like 10, 1, 10, 1. So maybe some of you, if you were Capricorn in the 10th house, that would mean that you are, give me a second. Oh, Aries rising, duh. Yeah, so maybe you have Capricorn Sun, Moon, Mars. I don't know if you would have a Mars in Capricorn if you're, well, maybe. Capricorn, Mars in the 10th house. So maybe you have a heavy 10th house placement, especially if the Sun is there, which is represented by the ego in astrology. This would mean that your ego, and even Venus in the 10th house, your ego, your worth, your drive is all wrapped up in how much you get done, your career success, your status in life, connected, which can connect back to worth, money, success, appearing as though that you've got it all together, you're successful, appearing as though you are that boss bitch, or you're self-made type of thing. Maybe you kind of fall into glorifying hustle culture, and quote, chasing the bag. We seek to be what the world outside desires, and not necessarily society at large. Our parents, our partners, our family, our partners, our friends place judgments on what we should be. In the dress we choose, we carve a mask of expectations, behaviors, and values to live by. It offers stability to ourselves and to our relations. Unfortunately, it offers stability to ourselves and to our relations, as being honest and true to ourselves can be too tiring and too easy to make us hurt. Inside the mask, envy grows, vanity takes root, lack of self-confidence becomes a habit. Wow, lack of self-confidence becomes a habit. It gnaws at us and hurts us from the inside. It feels like it is ourselves, but it's not really authentic. It is just a lie we have made habit to believe in. Habit is something I talked about earlier as well. So because this is so habitual, because those, what do they call them? Is it neurotransmitters? There's neural pathways in the brain have hardened, which you can undo through consistency and showing up differently each day. But those neural pathways have hardened to the point where you really don't see a problem with this, even if it means sacrificing yourself, your health, your well-being, because this is all that matters. This goal, this focal point, this success, this wealth, this status. Especially if it's tied to your worth, it's like scary to let go and compromise. When our lives become a gilded cage and our dress become a burden, we should remember that we were born naked. That's yeah, I don't really have much else to say with that. That's just pretty powerful. Okay, affirmation for group 1. Yeah, I didn't even consider the fact that Gaia, Earth connection, could also emphasize like Earth sign energy. But I want to bring that up here as well. There's just like this connection to the material world, and maybe even just being super logical, super attached to the material world and material things, being materialistic. And the interesting part with that is in the Dark Mirror book, it was talking about, what did it say? Emptiness, something. Emptiness is felt when there is nothing under the dress. All that glitters isn't gold. So it's like thinking that, and maybe you had a parent who, instead of being nurturing, which emphasizes more that this could be somebody who has Capricorn moon, maybe an Aquarius moon, but maybe you had a parent who expressed their love through giving you things and buying you things, and with more material things versus actually expressing any kind of like emotion. Maybe your mother was more of a boss mom or a corporate mom, or a mom who was a little bit detached emotionally, so there really wasn't much of a childhood. With this Playtime card I'm being drawn to, maybe there wasn't much of a childhood. So some of you, I'm getting a couple scenarios, let me slow down. So for some of you, you may have had a lack of a maternal energy, or you may have been the parent to your parents, so there wasn't really much of a childhood. You grew up very fast. Maybe there was poverty that you grew up around, so there is sort of this fear of lack and this importance around achievement, because in your familial line there wasn't much achievement, there wasn't much proof that you could achieve certain things. So there is this like strong attachment to success, because no one else was able to do that in my family. There wasn't much abundance or prosperity in my family. So there is this like attachment that was created through this trauma of having to grow up fast, or not having that emotional connection in your childhood memories. So there was more of material expressions of love versus hugs and kisses and quality time. So maybe those things are kind of foreign to you and you're detached from them, and you don't really have it's almost unusual. So I'm definitely getting a strong like Aquarian moon here, Aquarius in the 4th, Capricorn in the 4th, and like I said, Capricorn in the 10th, or very strong placements in the 10th, like personal planets like the Sun, the Moon, Venus, and Mars in the 10th house. Oh, I'm sorry, that's so sad. I'm sorry. So I'm at peace with my past. That's interesting. Wow. Yeah, so there's a need to integrate. There's a need to integrate with this. I am at peace with the past, and there is shadow, medicine in my shadow. Of course, depending on the intensity, every tarot reader has to put the disclaimer like, don't replace this advice with professional advice. We aren't doctors. I'm not a psychologist. No matter how much I enjoy studying it or I'm interested in it, like that's just a disclaimer I want to put out there. So just shadow work can be very triggering depending on the memories that you have. So definitely, if you're interested in things like NLP, hypnotherapy, those types of things that tap you into a more meditative space to call up or bring up old memories that you want to integrate and understand so that you can heal them, like that would be something that you would need to do with a professional. But in general, it's always good to have that assistance. But I digress, back to what I was saying, like being at peace with your past, integrating those things that have made you the person that you are today, that maybe don't serve you, that drain you, that have you neglect yourself because you're taking care of everything else or everyone else. And draining yourself, because this group has a lot of energy to extend or expend. I don't know which which word it would be, but yeah, it's time to be a little bit selfish through understanding these patterns, where they come from, why they're there, and all of that is shadow work. It's subconscious work. It's diving into that space where it triggers us to take these actions, and we don't fully slow down to understand, like, oh, why did I instinctively do that? In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. And I'm safe to be my true, authentic self. That's so beautiful. Which goes back to the Triumph of Lies card. Okay, wow. I did not think that would be that long. But I hope that was nourishing, a nourishing message for you, Group 1. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for visiting. Show your love by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're interested in more readings like this one. And I can't wait to see you again. Hello, Group 2. Welcome to your reading. We have Harmony and Virgo. I also have some keywords for y'all. So I have time management, chaos, fixer-upper, Barbara the Builder energy. So there's a YouTuber and content creator, personality influencer, whatever you want to call it. Her name is Ashira, and she came up with the term Dusties, and she also came up with the term, wow, I knew it. She also came up with the term Barbara the Builder, which is somebody who dates someone who's like a fixer-upper type of dude who is still trying to get it together, and she calls these women Barbara the Builders and pick-me girls, which is a girl who doesn't see her worth, and she just dates pretty much bottom of the barrel dudes. So she's coined a lot of really hilarious phrases. I'm sorry, Barbara the Builder. I'm not trying to laugh at anybody, but it's funny. She just, like, you have to laugh at yourself. She's so funny. Oh my gosh. Ashira the Star Goddess. I think that's her. She has a couple accounts. But I mean, she does all these lives, and she's been on YouTube for, I think, over a decade. I don't know. It's been a really long time, but I don't really sit through any of her lives because they're like hours long, but you can just go through her channel, and the titles are enough for you to like think about, like they're just like, she's so awesome. But anyways, maybe you want to check her out. But I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Anyways, so already I'm seeing somebody who may have Virgo in the second, which would be a Leo rising, or a Venus in Virgo, maybe a Mars in Virgo, or I think, yeah, Venus in Virgo is in detriment. So I might be using a lot of terms that some of you may not know about, but there may be, I'm just going to throw it out there for some of you who are into astrology. I'm still going to say it, but you may have a Venus planet, you may have a Venus placement that's in its fall or detriment. So it's not in, it's in a weaker placement, which would be Virgo and maybe Aries. I think it's Virgo and Aries. Or, wait, I think that's it. I don't know where these giggles are coming from, but anyways, yeah, so there is a need to set boundaries around who you let in your energy, a need to set boundaries around, in general, especially with this Mercury card in reverse, open communication. It's like you're holding back what you want to say, so maybe Mercury is in a weak point here in the chart as well. And I can't really think of, I think it's, I don't really remember, but your communication or throat chakra may be weak. Maybe there's some instances where your voice was taken away, or you just have a fear of communication, or you, like I was saying with having a Venus placement in your birth chart that might be in a fall or detriment place. You may not, I'm getting two storylines here. It's either someone who doesn't speak up for themselves, they are over caring, over nurturing, over catering, people pleasing, they attract these energies that drain them, that take from them. You may have some enmeshment patterns, some codependency, people pleasing patterns where you forget who you are, you don't know who you are, you lose yourself in people, and so that can make it really difficult for you to be able to communicate your opinions, your ideas, your boundaries, because you're not, like, the lines start to blur whenever you collaborate with someone. So this could be Venus and Virgo, or it could be Venus and Pisces, which is actually like an exaltation placement, so it works very well. But exaltations, I'm starting to learn, doesn't always mean that the energy is going to be expressed in the best possible way, because the Venus and Pisces can, in its lower nature, lose itself, be martyring, be self-sacrificial. And another thing I want to mention, like, polar signs doesn't necessarily mean they're like that different. Like, the energy expresses itself differently, but I'm in the belief that opposite signs are actually like, I don't even know how to explain. Like, I'm seeing an image, but I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. Two sides of the same coin, but it's even more than that. Like, every Virgo has Pisces energy within them, even if it's not in their chart. That's what I'm trying to say, but I don't really know how to clearly explain what I'm trying to say. So, like, both Virgo and Pisces archetypes and energies, this is beyond the chart, I'm just saying the energies that Virgo and Pisces kind of embody are kind of service to people and self-sacrificial. So there is this energy of losing yourself and others. And the other thing too, like the other part of the other side of the group, is someone who doesn't really listen very well, someone who only sees their side, someone who isn't very, it avoids confrontation is one side, and someone who isn't very great with compromising. And I mean, if you don't like confrontation, then how are you going to compromise? Anyways, I wanted to say either way, but okay, we have more mercurial energy. I think that's also why I think that's why my energy kind of increased. The first group was kind of heavy, but every time I have an airy group, I'm like, I just want to talk so much. I can already feel it. I feel very, like, buzzing, like I have so much to say. My language speeds up. It's so interesting now that I've started really doing this more often. I'm able to kind of pick up patterns and energies of each group, which I noticed with other readers. I always thought that was so fascinating. Okay, anyways, I need to digress because I'm getting off topic. This is exactly what I mean. There's, like, very strong mercurial or just airy energy here, or somebody who just has the energy of, like, maybe you move really fast, like I'm getting like a dragonfly or fairy energy, like you're moving really fast, which takes me back to the keywords of time management and chaos. There's something very interesting about Virgo as an earth sign that isn't entirely as earthy as, say, Capricorn or Taurus. Virgo is always kind of like doing things and moving around, so she's like here and there and here and there, and you don't really know, like, it's kind of hard to keep up with, I feel. And she's planting seeds, but it's not going to be just one seed. It's going to be a lot of different seeds. So there's this energy with this group that can be sporadic, which is kind of what I felt from this fragmentation energy and this mercurial energy. It's like your energy is scattered and it's not really focused, and emphasis on disharmony as well. Like, you can't really build something or nurture yourself if you have your energy kind of leaking in all of these different places, especially in relationship with this lovers card. And just it's like this difficulty with being an individual without merging in collaborations, and seeing yourself clearly whenever you're in collaboration. So there's like this soul fragmentation. So interesting how the numbers have been really aligning with the tarot as well. We have 27, which adds up to the number 9, which is the Virgo card in tarot. It's the Hermit card. So like, where's your mind at? Where's your focus at? Are you focused? Are you aware, or are you asleep? Are you just moving in autopilot? Like, are you obsessing over someone else, or are you taking care of your own business? Like, what are you doing? Where are you at? Where are you going? Is it intentional? Can you slow down for a second? Are your thoughts your own? Are you expressing yourself clearly and consistently? Are you taking care of others? Seven, strength. Okay, yeah, there's a need to stand your ground here. Devil in reverse at the bottom of the deck. There's like, I'm trying to slow myself down. One thing at a time. Okay, so I want to start with the Lovers, Strength, and Devil in reverse. So there's a need to purify and clarify yourself, which is a key word for Virgo. So there's a need to release any addictions that we may have. And what's interesting too about, and I keep getting brought back to this vampire energy, is even though the empath is being sucked dry, I feel like there's a subtle subconscious like shadow of the empath where they're also getting an energy sustenance from being needed. So in a weird way, I feel like the empath can be viewed as a leech on a different angle. I hope that makes sense. Like, you're leeching off of somebody who maybe needs you because you're getting energy from that, even though they're draining you, and they're getting energy from that. So everybody is losing in this situation, but there's a need to really analyze where you're kind of like in bondage or disempowered, where you give your power away, and that you give your power away in addictions and codependency, and in not and in doing that, you're not able to express yourself. You're not able to show up the way that you want. There's healing in expressing yourself. Get a weight off of your chest. Speak up with love and be heard. There's a healing in revealing yourself and sharing yourself. And how are you going to be able to set boundaries? How are people going to know what your boundaries are, what you do and don't accept, or fuck with if you can't speak up. And if you're so like enmeshed and worried about the other person and how they feel, that you've kind of lost your sense of self and your sense of individualization, individuate, I don't know. So there's a need to awaken your ego again. There's a need to recognize where you can be in collaboration with people, and how the collaboration energy is separate from your individual energies, and your individual energies are what creates that third energy, that energy of the collaboration, that energy of love. It's like in astrology there's I think it's called a composite chart. There's synastry charts and then there's composite charts. The composite chart is actually the energy that two people create. So it kind of combines both of the charts, I think. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with that realm, but it shows you the energy of a connection ultimately. And that doesn't mean that those energies are no longer there. Those energies are what makes the composite chart, is what I'm trying to express. So there's this image of bondage with the devil card, of bondage, of attachment, of illusion, which we see here, like rose-colored glasses, of allowing people to kind of like fugazi you. Is that the word? I never use that word. Like people to just kind of like do what they will with your energy and disrespect you, because you are so like addicted to the attachment, and there's no freedom in this attachment. There's who's really being their true selves in this attachment, who's really it's there needs to be sovereignty to truly create a beautiful like energy within a collaboration. So there's a need to balance your sovereignty with and to keep your sovereignty in relationships, in interactions with people. And I keep saying relationships, and I want us to express that I'm using the word relationship in a broad sense. So I want to read the fragmentation card. When rage is projected inward, destruction joins confusion and we break. Wow. So I'm going to stop there. When rage is projected inward, destruction joins confusion and we break. So the thing with neglecting our boundaries, there's betrayal that builds, there's resentment that builds, there's also precedents that form where people think that this behavior is okay because you've continued to allow it. And with not expressing yourself and your boundaries, there's a lot of I'm almost seeing tar in the energy field, in the energy body. There's a lot of congestion that happens of these emotions of resentment that may not be felt now but will be felt later. And also anger towards yourself and towards other people for doing what they're doing, and for you allowing them to do what they continue to do that you find disrespectful but you don't speak up about. So here they're talking about rage is projected inward. There's some emotions that build up when you lack boundaries, when you overextend yourself and enmesh yourself, and choose to lose yourself in something, and you ultimately decide that you aren't a person and you don't matter, which is not true. Losing a sense of self, oh my gosh, okay. I'm reading the book again. Losing a sense of self is a crescendo of noise, a decrescendo of pain, and a prelude to nothingness. Oh, wow. I just have to, this deck always gets me. I don't use it very often. I pull it out for very specific readings if I'm guided to it, and it's just like, damn. Okay. If I were to cut off my legs, would I still be me? If I were to carve out my heart, would I still be me? If my flesh would turn to stone? If my lungs were emptied of air? If my dream to fly were to be forced in chains and hanged out like an expired balloon, would I still be me? Wow, the chains, oh my gosh. Oh my, I love this. I just said, this is just so fun for me. It's just, my mind is always blown. Okay, where was I? I fought and lost, broken, beyond recognition. Beyond recognition. Can you see yourself? Do you know who you are? Can you recognize who you are? And I know that we are infinite, but I'm just saying, like, whatever sense of self that you have, it's still in there, but do you see it? Can you see it whenever you show up like this? And I use the word and phrase show up loosely, because how are you showing up when you aren't there, when you aren't being yourself? Who's running the show? Who's controlling you whenever you allow yourself to repress your expression? Your expression is how your soul comes alive. You're killing yourself metaphorically by refusing to set these boundaries. Okay, back to the book. I'm so passionate about this. I'm just like, wake up. Wake up. Wake up, okay? Okay, back to the book. Not by the shallow sight of bystanders who can pity but who can't understand. I cannot even recognize myself through the sobs, through the tears, and when silence finally comes, through the empty motions and the conventional smiles. Who did this to me? I did. Maybe. Maybe not. What is broken can be mended. Not so that it returns whole, but at least until it tells his name anew. My name. And who will do that to me? I will. So this is such a powerful and poetic way of saying there's a need to forgive what has happened, to accept what, and I think there was sort of a feeling of like, oh, I lost this. I can't get back or be made whole. Like, yes, you can. You will be made whole, but you will also be made whole new. The wholeness of the person that has been broken down isn't the identity that you want to embody anyways. So you are being made whole and new in a truer, more authentic form. And this also expresses that there is a need to empower yourself. There is a need to step up in an embodiment of empowerment. So that people know not to fuck with you, dude. Like love unconditionally, but have some, like, you can do that from afar. Like, our parents, would you say that they don't love us unconditionally when they punish us? When they set those boundaries of, hey, you can't act like this. You can't behave like this. There are guidelines. There are boundaries. Like, that doesn't limit the child in any way. That doesn't mean that the child isn't loved just because the parent is disciplining them. Just because the parent is setting boundaries for that child. Sometimes you gotta treat people like children, or else they will run rampant. They will be disrespectful. And that's not in a condescending way. It's just an analogy, okay? But let them know. You gotta let them know. And it may be shaky. There's a quote, I can't think of how it goes, but like something about like using your voice even if it shakes, something like that. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, all of these are in reverse. I unleash my wildness and choose to be free, in reverse. Number 43. Collaboration brings more sweetness into my life and into the world, in reverse. And love and intimacy flow into my life effortlessly, in reverse. So these are things that are just showing their imbalance. And I always look at the bottom of the deck as like an overarching theme. I unleash my wildness and choose to be free. So again, there's like an emphasis of empowerment. This wolf is howling. It is expressing its voice, its song. It's expressing itself. This woman looks like she's got like a very unique hairstyle. I mean, dreads aren't unique, but you know, like she has piercings. She has a certain like art that she's expressing. Her hairstyle is unique. This woman is expressing herself. She is being authentic to herself. And again, like there may be this pattern of just disharmony, of chaos in relationships, and yeah, I guess, I mean, that, I don't know what else I would have said, but there may be this pattern of these toxic relationships, of these toxic friendships, of people taking advantage of you, of you not seeing this beautiful collaboration that can happen because you're not showing up in your healthiest way, and so you're not attracting people who are healthy. You're attracting people who have addictions like you do to validation, to not people who maybe you don't like being alone. Maybe that could be another reason why you keep these people around and you embody this acceptance of fixing people, which is not your job. That's not a collaboration. A collaboration is equal. It's usually balanced. I mean, hopefully. Ideally, not hopefully, ideally, it would be balanced and in harmony. And that's what should be important. So you're not like doing most of the work. You're not mothering or babying someone who is a grown-ass person who can take care of themselves. Like that's not necessary. I find love everywhere I go. It's all around me. The other message is for... Whoa. Beautiful. Slow progress is still progress. I'm doing the best that I can. So just be patient and take your time. Like when it comes to like expressing yourself in your voice, it can be scary. It can be scary. It can feel like death. I don't know if some of you are into past lives, but I'm getting, because I have been working on this myself, and I know that people mention a lot about past lives affecting our kind of karma or lessons that we need to work out with in our current life. So if you identify with maybe the witch wound or a past life where you were persecuted for speaking up and speaking your voice, because maybe, again, like with the slow progress, it feels like for some of you this is very, very deep. So, and when I say past lives, some of you may resonate with like an actual past life, or a past life could be, we live many lives in one life, so it could be your childhood. Maybe you used to be somebody who would speak your mind, but something happened where you were penalized for telling the truth, and maybe it was a truth that somebody didn't like. And I mean, when we're children, we don't really have much of a filter. So maybe that's a memory that you're still kind of playing out right now. I am at peace with my past. That is crazy. That came out with the last group. So maybe there's, again, like this emphasis on integrating your past, being aware of your past, examining it, and understanding how that's affecting how you're showing up today. And if how you're showing up today is of benefit or of detriment, of detriment to you. So, yeah, group 2. Thank you for stopping by. I'm so happy that you did. And show some love by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you want more readings like this one. And I can't wait to see you again. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Group 3. This is your reading. What? Okay, so I have some keywords. Surface level, boundaries with your own emotional depth, detaching, always keeping it light, dodging emotions like the plague. And the signs that I got were Aquarius and Sagittarius, Aquarius moon, Sagittarius moon, Sag in the 4th house of the birth chart, or Aquarius in the 4th house. What is a Sagittarius in the 4th house? So that would be a Virgo rising, I believe, if you have Sag in the 4th. Okay, soul expansion. Consciousness is expanding. You understand the connections between all things. Connect to your lineage. A family wound or pattern can be healed now. Okay. Interesting. So interesting. Okay, so I'm getting an energy around maybe a family that you grew up in where they didn't really talk much about their problems, especially if you resonate with the masculine energy. Maybe you kind of grew up in a traditional household where you had a father figure or paternal figure. Your paternal parent, your father figure. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. May have been the type of person who would tell you to like suck it up, who would tell you to get over it, or maybe there was a like strong masculine energy in your family where you weren't really allowed to cry. Wow, we have the sun in reverse. That is, wow. Oh my gosh, like this, I have chills. The synchronicities of this reading are bananas. Okay. Yeah, there's like this, I feel like you guys are highly intelligent. Like maybe, I'm getting a group of people. I'm seeing like a child who would escape to their room and then cry. Someone who had to hide their emotions a lot and keep them close to the chest. And someone who is highly intelligent. So like escaping into books as a child, into your own like imaginary world because you couldn't share your emotions. Like when I see this happiness card, when I shuffled for the themes, there's something about this that seems fake. Like the smile looks like a mask, like it doesn't seem real. And maybe you even feel like you have to show up as this happy, bubbly person, or people have this idea of you being like a happy person and they can't really see like they can't really see the true depths because you hide it so well. So they just assume like, oh, okay, this person is always in such a good mood. Okay, wow. The Sun and the Devil in reverse. Anything else? Group 3, group 3. I don't know why I'm getting a feeling of like secrets in the childhood, or like there's something unique about your childhood. I don't know if like if there was maybe addiction, or I'm getting like, I'm also getting, if it wasn't addiction, I'm also getting like an energy of like a workaholic parent, or parents who are workaholics. So like your childhood was unique in that way, where your parents weren't really around because they were working so much, so you spent a lot of time alone. And that could also bleed into like the stoicism of like the comfort and being sort of a stoic, as far as like expressing your emotions. Yeah, it's like there's, with that happiness card, and I was talking about the feeling of like a mask, like no one really knows like how you're feeling. It's like hard to know how you're feeling. So there's like this, and I don't know if you know how you feel. There's this like hiding of yourself, hiding of your expression. There's just like this protection of your light. Like you're very protective of your light. It's almost like someone didn't accept it before, or it wasn't like nurtured. And just with this King of Pentacles, it feels like what was nurtured more was your accolades, your achievements. So again, like I was mentioning earlier, like there's this like high intelligence of this person. So it could be somebody who like went to school and you only really got attention when you did well in school. Maybe you did well in school naturally, and that was the only thing that was acknowledged, versus like you were more passionate about being creative, being artistic, being like an avant-garde type of person, but that wasn't really nurtured or fed like the values that your parents had. I'm really feeling a strong like dad energy or father figure. There's a lot of masculine figures here. Like the paternal side very much valued money, business, those types of corporate like things, or like structural things. Like I'm almost getting like a military dad, or like a dad who works all the time. He's always in the office. He kind of like is self-made, or has his own business. I'm getting like a lawyer dad who's not really around, or like that kind of energy where he doesn't really pay attention unless like you're doing something, or you're being successful, or you're like a valedictorian or something like that. So there's like this underdeveloped sense of expression. There's almost this need to start over, to get back in touch with your interests as a child, what interests you, and finding more enjoyment. I don't know if it's hard to find things that you enjoy, and maybe that kind of goes back into like feeling as though you needed to show up a certain way, and that the way that you wanted to show up didn't matter as much because these were the expectations that were set for you. Group three. Okay, again with the ancestors. That's so interesting. We have another card. I celebrate my lineage and honor my ancestors. So I really feel that one, you may be the change bringer, and that's something that you'll need to stand up confidently and acknowledge. Like, you're going to do something different from what your parents did. So I don't know if maybe you had a family business that your parents expect you to kind of step up to whenever they get older, or maybe like a lineage of doctors, or you know how they have like a lineage of like lawyers, like everybody in your family chose to show up in this way or choose this career path, but you are like the black sheep, like you're the oddball. You're not gonna do what everybody else is doing, and I really feel like there's an energy of support for you to choose your own path and to feel comfortable expressing yourself in your own unique way. I am ready, thank you. Okay, there's a little bit of nerves. That's fine. There is like a worry of disappointing people. My dreams reveal that magic is real and anything is possible. Okay, yeah, there's like a stifling of... There's like a real repression and stifling. So it's like there may be a need to set boundaries with your family. Or release the boundaries that you set on yourself, as far as like closing yourself off to your unique expression, closing yourself off to your desires, releasing yourself from this corporate world. From when I see the devil in reverse, interestingly enough, I feel like it's somebody who wants to move away from tradition, wants to move away from the box that they've been placed into by the expectations of others and by the ways that other people have showed up, and maybe you feel like you're predisposed to showing up that way because, again, like your family has and your father's father and your father's father or whatever, like there's this pattern of showing up in this particular way of having this job and picking this career path, but you don't want to do that, and that doesn't identify with you. And there is a need to stand firm in that and to be brave enough to express yourself in that, and to step forward in that. Allow yourself to tap into your dreams instead of being fearful of them. And it may take a while, especially if you don't feel safe expressing yourself in this way, but like it's like this group has more internal boundaries when they need more external boundaries. So you're setting boundaries on how you express yourself, you're setting boundaries on how you show up, you're setting boundaries around who can see who your true self is, you're setting boundaries around play and allowing yourself to have joy, because maybe there's this mindset of like joy is a waste of time, or like I had a thought and it slipped. It's like this mindset of like hard work and struggle and like these traditional values of like you can't have fun and also make money or something along those lines. I wish I could think of the phrase, but I lost it. So you're creating a new a new way for others to show up. You're showing, not others, let me rephrase that. You're creating a new way of showing up, and you're showing others that this can work. There's a new and alternative way to make money, to be successful, to express yourself. Like, there's more than one path that can lead to the same result. Okay. Oh my gosh, I hope you can't hear my stomach growling. I hope you can't feel my stomach growling. Depression is the stage. The moon phase is the first quarter. I feel I am not worth enough. Wow. Okay. Wow. Oh my gosh, this reading is so powerful. It's just been like so aligned. That was a side note. But anyways, my body is a temple of my soul. It has no secrets to me. So there is, again, like something that wasn't nurtured. And our soul is so transparent as a child. So if it doesn't get nurtured then, if we're like carved and molded into like what our parents want us to be, it does kind of bring about these feelings of unworthiness. Like who I want to be, my dreams, my self-expression isn't going to be accepted. If my parents don't accept it, especially because like as children, like that's like the small bubble that we identify with, it feels like our parents are a representation of the world. So when our parents reject us, we feel that means the world isn't going to accept us. Our friends aren't going to accept us. Teachers or other like authority figures, when they reject us, it's like, oh, well, they are the say-so. They are the figurehead. That means that nobody else is going to accept this. But that's not true. And so like play with that. Play with what I said a little bit if that resonates really deeply for you. This card is about the darkness in the body. Culture can make us take distance from what is our corporality. I don't know what that word means, so I'm going to look it up. Define. Corporality, the state of being a body or embodied, the character of being corporal. Bodily existence opposed to spirituality. Culture can make us take a distance from what is our corporality, our embodiment. So many religions and customs, for instance, demonize sex in many ways, lacing it with guilt, as an assassin could lace food with poison. On the other side, we are collaborators in cheapening our body, hiding it, being shamed by it, selling it, giving it away for nothing. It happens when we accept an abusive relationship, when we refuse to respect the body of another, or more simply, when we do things like being too lazy to eat healthily. Our body is a temple. It cannot be defiled. We can take a shower, raise our chin, feel proud. It is our body, ours. Wow, okay, so I feel like this example, this reading of the card, like I felt like the body could also mean the soul and our expression. And like that could definitely match in that description as well, like honoring it and not cheapening it or hiding it or disrespecting it and betraying it by silencing it. So there is, again, like I need to show up. I wanted to say show up differently, but to show up in general, and not be afraid of being seen. And I just want to emphasize group 3, like, you have something to share. And that could be as simple as just you. Like, the thing that you have to share is you, and that is worthy of being shared. However that is expressed. And I'm also getting a tinge of, like, coming out of the closet energy. And that could mean, like, sexuality or even identification. So I don't know if some of you, like, are worried about being rejected in that way. Oh my gosh, my voice. Yeah, so I just want to throw that out there as well, because that came to my mind. Alright, so these are your affirmations. I'm becoming a better version of myself every day. I trust my inner voice. This is in reverse too. So yeah, there's like a need to get to know yourself and reintroduce yourself to yourself. And that's going to be a very beautiful, exciting process because it's so new. I am just pure magic. Again, in reverse. Yeah, there's like a need to really see. There's really a need to see and to trust yourself, to see yourself more clearly, and to re-experience yourself. And re-identify with yourself. And there is like a shedding process, which can be intimidating. It can be intimidating, but it's very, very rewarding. And it will expand your soul. So I didn't do this for the other groups, but I really want to read Mahavatar Babaji. He's like catching my attention, so I'm gonna read that for y'all. Okay. You may feel that you've retreated from the world recently. Maybe you've not been as active socially or spiritually, but this time of inner rest has really paid off. You are becoming more and more consciously aware of how connected you are to God and all living beings. This sense of union is called yoga. Yoga goes beyond physical ability and into a sense of awareness that's created through spiritual practice, meditation, and devotion to the divine. Mahavatar Babaji, the yogic father, is here to inspire that fire of union within you so that you can understand how your thoughts and actions are creating the waves of energy that form your life. So, yeah, there may be a need to kind of go into hermit mode to protect your energy from other people, so it's not like tainted is the only word that can come to mind, but devotion and prayer. I surrender to the power of devotion and prayer. There's a need to kind of meditate on certain things, to spend time with yourself. I love going into nature. I feel like my thoughts are the clearest there, and see what ideas come up, whether it's like an activity or something that you want to research, like, and that can be the beginning steps of you kind of unraveling yourself and opening yourself up to your soul and your true expression. So, group 3, that is your reading. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for visiting. Show some love by commenting, liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I can't wait to see you again.